late Sudoku stream. We are going to solve two Sudoku puzzles. One of them is a easy Sudoku puzzle, and one of them is a medium difficulty puzzle. So let me load up the easy one first. Nothing in this square. Oh boy. Okay. Let's validate and start the clock. You've got 20 seconds from when it validates to before I start solving it. There we go. Countdown timer is running. Gives me a chance to make sure that the chat window is someplace where I can see it. In case you're up to chatting with me, I will attempt to respond verbally. All right. Time is running. We got a couple possible 7s here. And a 7 there. So, we get a solve of a 7 here. This gets a couple. All right. Couple possible 7s here. And we get a couple of possibles here. And that mirrors up with a couple of possibles right here. 7s. Yeah, let's go back to 1s. So that can't be a 1. One of these two could be a 1. One of these two could be a 1. That's too many. 3 possibilities down here. Here we've got 2 possibilities. Down here we're going to have all kinds of possibilities, 5 of them in fact. Here we've got 2 possibilities. That makes this into a 1. And now we've got, that was blocked already, that's blocked. We still have 3 possibles here and 3 possibles here. But 2, so we got a 2 here. Does that work with anything? Well, it gets me 2 possible 2s here. But that's about it. Everything else is kind of wide open for 2s. So let's go on to 3s. This one's going to be a 3, making this one a 7. And that's going to make this one into a 5, nope, a 4. And that takes care of that column right there. All right. Elsewhere, 3s are filled here. I've got 3 possibilities here, 2 possibilities here. Up here, we've got a solve there, and that means I've got 2 possible 3s here. And like I say, I've got 3 possibles here. So we'll have to come back to that later. 4s. Let's see, one of these 2 is going to be a 4. I've got 3 possible 4s here. 3 possible 4s here. 3 possible 4s here. And a 4 here, which knocks us down to a 4 here. And that gives me a 4 here, which makes this into a 3 and this into a 7. That becomes a 7 there. And one of this one's going to be a 4. That makes this a 4. And I believe 4s are all populated now. Okay, 5s. I've got a 5 here. These three become possible 5s. These three become possible 5. These three are possible 5s. Got a 5 there. So I've literally got 6 possible 5s there and 3 possible up here. And 3 possible 5s here. However, this can't be a 5. I need one in the column. That makes this into a 5. And that means that this is going to be a 2. All right. How about 6s? We've got a... that 5, actually, that 5 helps here. One of these 2 is going to be a 5. And one of these 2 is going to be a 5 now. And that kind of ties things up. We've got 3 possibilities up here, so... Oh, well. Okay, 6s. We got a 6 here and 6 here. That makes this a 6. It turns this into a 5 and this into a 2. That means one of these 2 is now a 5. One of them is a 2. And let's see. 2. So one of these 2 is a 3. It's going to be this one. 4. One of these 2 is 5, 6, 7. And that makes this into an 8. All right. We're back at 6s. So one of these 3 will be a 6. I've got 3 possibilities here and here. Nope, 2 possibilities here. One of these 2 will be a 6. That means one of these 2 will be a 6. It doesn't help here, this point. Like I said, I've got 3 possibilities here and here. All right, 7s. Well, we got this one narrowed down to being a 7 here. And that takes care of all of the squares for 7s. Now we've got an 8 to fill in here somewhere. We know one of these 2 is going to be an 8. The other is going to be a 1. We can tie those in right now. Down here, one of these 2 is going to be a 1. We're still working on 8s, but we can tie or clean up a couple of things. One of these 2 is going to be a 9. All right. I'm showing 3 possible 8s here, 4 possible 8s here, 2 possible 8s up here. That makes this into an 8, which turns this into 2 possible 8s. We still have 4 possible 8s there. 9s, well, these 2 are blocked, so that makes this a 9. One of these 2 will be a 9. Got a 9 here and here, so this one's going to be a 9. 9 here and here. One of these 2 will be a 9. All right. Now we can come back through. We've got 2 possibilities here. One of them will be a 2. And the other is going to be a 6. That means that none of these can be a 6. That makes one of these 2 a 6. Go with one of these 2. Now I still have, oh, one of these 2 will be a 6. All right. Since we got 2 6 here, what we've got left here are 8 and 5 can go into these as well. One of them will be 8, one of them will be 5. Okay. Let's take a look at this real quick. So that's going to be a 2. That solves that. I was concerned about that. That means one of these 2 will be a 2. That's a 2, so one of these 2 will be a 2. And now I've got 2's earmarked or blocked in every square except this one. Oh, I got one here. All right. So this can't be a 3. It's a 6 here. That makes this a 3. And this becomes a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this becomes a 5. We get a 2 and a 6 here. A 2 and a 5 here. All right. This can't be an 8 because of that, so that's a 6. And that turns this into an 8, turns this into a 5, and this becomes a 6. We end up with a 1 and an 8 here. Pair of still possible 2's up here, but there's something else that needs to go into these. There's a 1 going right here. So this is a 2. All right. That means we now have a single option here. And it looks like that's going to be a 5. Means we now have we get a 5 here. This becomes a 2. Means this is a 2. This is an 8. And let's see what we got down here. Well, this one's going to be an 8, making this a 1, making this a 9, making this a 1, making this a 9, and finishing up with a 6 here. 10 minutes and 30 seconds. So let me get back to the puzzle, or my notification. Okay. And now we can hit play again. I'm going to switch views here. And let's load up the hard or the medium puzzle for today. So we get a 4, 8, 7, 2, 1, 5, 8, 7, 2, 3 here, 7, 1, 5, 2 here, 9, 5, 4, 6, 7, 4, and 1. The 1 was right, just in the wrong place. I think that's yellow and wordy, but I don't play that, so not entirely sure. All right. And again, if this checks or validates, which will start the clock running, we've got 20 seconds for you to start looking at it and solving it, and for me to pull back the chat window so I can see any chat messages that people send. If you sent one in the last couple of moments where I couldn't see it because it was behind another window, go ahead and send again. And oh, there we go. And now we've got 20 seconds. Wow. 12 seconds. Okay, 4. All right, my turn. So one of these 3 is going to be a 2. I've got a 1 and one of these 4. That can't be a 1, so I've got 3 possibilities for a 1 here. Here we've got a couple of possibilities for a 1. And that means one of these 2 is a 1. One of these 2 is going to be a 1. And I've got 4 possibilities here, along with 4 up here, and the 3 over here. All right, 2's. So one of these 3 will be a 2, and one of these 2 is going to be a 2. dictated by these two 2's. One of these 2 is going to be a 2, and that's simply dictated by this 2. So none of these can be a 2, so one of these 2 has to be. That means one of these 2 is going to be a 2, because one of these 2 has to be a 2, one of these 2 has to be a 2. That just leaves the bottom row. But 1 and 2 here means one of these, could theoretically say one of these 2 is going to be a 3, and one of them is going to be an 8, and that'd be correct, but since 3 and 8 are likely to have more possibilities that need to be addressed, we're holding off on that. All right, 3's. So I've got 3 possibilities for a 3 here, a 3 here, and that drops us down to 1 possibility for a 3 here. That means I now have 2 possibilities for 3 here, 2 here. I've got 3 possibilities here and 3 possibilities here. So on to 4's. We've got a 4 here, a 4 here, 3 possibilities for a 4 here and here. 2 possibilities for a 4 here. I've got 3 possibilities here. I see that in both this case and this case, there are no 4's in the middle column or middle row, so one of these is going to be a 4. And that goes up with one of these 2 being a 4. And unfortunately, that's about all I can do with 4's so far. Still have too many possibilities. So 5's. Got a 5 here and here, so one of these 2 will be a 5. 5 here and here, that means this one's going to be a 5 because I've got a 5 here as well. One of these 2 will be a 5. And let's see, one of those 2 is a 5, that's a 5. I've got 4 possibilities for a 5 here, and 2 possibilities for a 5 here. So on to 6's. Anybody wondering about the 5's that I selected here? This one says it can't be that 5. This one says it can't be either of these 2 for a 5. So again, we're looking at 6's now. We've got a 6 there, a 6 here, gives us 4 possibilities here, 3 possibilities here, 4 possibilities here, 3 possibilities here, 3 possibilities here, 5 possibilities here, and we're kind of wide open up here as well. All right, let's run to 7's. We've got a pair of possible 7's here now, but that says that's not one of them. So now we've got a 7 and a 4 taken care of there, and that takes care of that 4 as well. And let's see, this one is going to be a 7. We've got 2 possibilities for a 7 here, and 2 possibilities for a 7 here. 8's. This is going to be an 8 because of these 2 8's. One of these 4 is going to be an 8. We'll come back to that. One of these 4 is going to be an 8. Same deal. I've got 4 possibilities here and 5 possibilities here. We end up with 3 possible 4 or 8's down here and 4 possibles here. So on to 9's. One of these 2 will be a 9. One of these 2 is going to be a 9. The other one is going to be a 6. That means one of these 2 is going to be a 6. We get a little bit of help there that way. So one of these 2 is a 9. These 2 are blocked, so one of these 2 is a 9. That marries up with that, so this becomes a 9. This becomes a 6. All right, So one of these two is now going to be a 6. And this will be a 6. All right, that makes this one a 6. That's not going to be a 6. And that means one of these 3 is going to be a 6. And we've got 4 possibilities here. But we were up to 9s here. So what do we got? One of these 2 is a 9. Nope, not one of those 2. I've got 3 possible 9s here. One of these 3 is going to be a 9. Because one of these 2 is a 9. That's a 9. That means it had to be one of these 4. Well, that blocks this one, but it doesn't block any of the others. All right. Here, though, this 9 blocks that. That says one of these 2 is a 9. And that does lock this into being a 9. That becomes not a 9. This is a 9. Doesn't make it a 6. Still have 2 possibilities. But it does make this into a 9. Let's see. That means one of these 2 is a 9. So, what else have we got? We got 3 possible 2s, 3 possible 1s down here, along with a 5. And over here, we end up with a 4 dropping in here. That gives us 2 possible 4s in here now. Up here, we get a possible 1, or 2 possibilities for a 1. All right. Got 2 possibilities. No, all right. So we got a pair of 4s here. 1, 2. We've got 3 possibilities for a 3. Pair of 4s. 5. 4 possibilities for a 6. A 7's already on the board. 3 possibilities for an 8. A 9 is on the board. All right. Okay. Down here, got a pair of possible 1s, pair of possible 2s, 3 possible 3s, 4 to 5 given. One of these 3 is a 6. We got a pair of possible 7s and 4 possible 8s. All right. Over here, got a 1, pair of possible 2s, pair of possible 3s, a 4, pair of possible 5s, a 6, and a 7. That means I've got 4 possible 8s. I got the 2 possible 9s. All right. That doesn't help me much. So let's move on over here. A pair of possible 1s. And 2s, a 3, pair of possible 4s. So where do we have possibility? One of these 2 is a 5. No, got a 5. 6, pair of possible 7s. And hey, we have a pair of possible 8s now. This can't be an 8 because of that. We're down to a 7 here. Do a quick check on that. 1 and 2 down here. 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7 we're trying to check. An 8 up here and a 9. So yes, that is a 7. That turns this into a 4. This becomes an 8 because that couldn't be an 8. So we got the 1 and the 2 there. All right. Does that help? It should. And nope, we've got the 1 and a 2 there. That can't be a 2, but it doesn't prevent that from being a 2. And 1 is what the other thing we need. So we'll continue back, or come back to that in a little bit. We're down to a single 7 over here now, so drop that in. So that can't be an 8. One of these 2 is an 8 now. Up here, I've got 3 possibilities for an 8, so that's not narrowing enough down for that. I do have, that's an 8. That blocks this one. These two are blocked by this 8, so I've got 2 possible 8s here. And I've got 3 possible 8s over here. Okay. 2 9s there and there. Okay. 1s, 2s, 3. So either of, oh, that means I've got 2 possibilities for a 3 here. Either of those are going to be a 3. Don't know which, but that means that can't be 3. Neither can that, so that turns this into a 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 3 possible 6s, a 7, 3 possible 8s. Really need to see if we can narrow that down somehow, eh? Well, one of these two is an 8. Got a couple possibilities here for an 8. Anything else we can do in this square? So we've got 4 possible 1s, 3 possible 2s, a 3, 3 possible 4s, pair of possible 5s, a 6, a 7, 2 possible 8s, and a 9. Okay. So 1, 2 or 2, 8 or 8 are possibilities there. This can't be a 6. So this becomes a 6. This becomes a 1. The reason it couldn't be a 6 is because of that one. That means in here, one of these two is going to be a 6. One of these, we're getting 1 here, 1 there. 2, 2. One of these two is 2. Ugh. Okay, besides that, yeah, we've got possibilities for 8 there. But possibilities for 8 in all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 4 possibilities for 1 here. 3 possibilities for 2, 3. 2 possibilities for 4. 2 possibilities for 5, 6, and 7. One of these two is an 8. We get a 9. All right. And at this point, I think I'm going to have to flood the rest of them in. So we'll come up here. We have 3 possible 1s up here. And 3 possible 2s to go with the 2 possible 5s. And we're done with the top row. Over here, we've got 4 possible 1s, 3 possible 2s, 2 possible 4s, 2 possible 5s, a 6, a 7, 2 possible 8s, and a 9. All right. Here we've got 2 possible 1s. It looks like 3 possible 2s. Ah, we are left with a single 3 here. I missed that earlier. Because none of these can be a 3. That can't be a 3, and because of these 2 possibilities, these can't be a 3. All right. 4 given here. 5 is there. So we can put 5s in the square corners. Not a 6. 5. Maybe I'll put a 6 there. As a matter of fact, we can put a 6 here. Should have been, there was a 6 there earlier. Got a 7 already. We have 5 possible 8s. And a 9. That's down on the number of 8. That means we've got a 2 here. Let's check that. We got a 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 visible. So yes, that is a 2. Makes this one into a 9. Makes this into an 8 here as well. This becomes a 2. So that turns this into an 8, which makes this into a 5. We got possible 5s here. 6 here. 5 and 1. 1 and 4. 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 6 and 8 in here. Okay. Down here, everything is locked in to a round robin, it looks like. Here we've got 1 pair, or a 2 here, which is locked in on the 2. That makes this a 6, this a 3, this an 8, a 2 here, which disambiguates up here as an 8 and a 6. All right, and now we've got a 3, 8, 5 here. We've got a 1, 2 here. That gets us a 1, a 2, and a 5 up here to solve the puzzle. Hey, that took us 20 minutes and 9 seconds. A little longer than I like for a medium puzzle, but it did get solved. So I'll take that as a win. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll be back tomorrow. Not sure what time. I've got some errands I need to run around the entire metro area for. I was planning on being out of town entirely tomorrow. But that doesn't need to be done anymore, so we will talk with